Hello, Nigerians. Welcome to another edition of Politics is Life. My name is Yetunde Makinde. Today's content is titled, Why the Call to End the 1999 Constitution is a Bad Idea. A bad idea in my opinion. As a freedom-loving person, I've got no qualms with people agitating or clamoring for ideals they consider to be in their best interest. Pushing for one's enlightened self-interest is, after all, the ultimate goal of politicking. In recent times, dwindling economic opportunities has given rise to all manner of agitations across Nigeria, restructuring being the oldest of them. End Nigeria Now, End 1999 Constitution Now are two of the newer ones. Of all the agitations, it's End 1999 Constitution that piques my interest for two reasons. One, many of those who latch onto the agenda that's the agenda to end the 1999 Constitution, haven't read the Constitution. It's amazing how supposedly educated people will latch onto agendas and swallow media propaganda without even bothering to study or understand what is being sold to them. The second reason why it piques my interest is because some of the loudest commentators and agitators, the advocates to end the 1999 Constitution, have made some specious assertion. The point of this video is to refute these assertions using objectivity and reasonableness. I will focus on two of the assertions that pop up the most when I engage people in private conversations online and offline. The first assertion that I hear a lot is that the 1999 Constitution hinders development of the state because it is written in ways that prevent development. And as a result of this, the agitators want the extant Constitution to be repealed, not amended, but completely abrogated. The second assertion that I hear is that the Northern Caliphate controls all aspects of the Nigerian state, thereby causing massive underdevelopment. In my humble opinion, I think these arguments are flawed, as a proponent are sidestepping the real issues that challenge the Nigerian state. Anyone who takes a critical, unbiased look at the Nigerian situation will come to four major conclusions. One, that Nigeria, as opposed to being a democracy, is really an oligarchic state, a state where a few strongmen and their cronies run the state. Two, Nigeria's institutions are weak, and this is the case for all countries with strongman type rulers who really are not politicians but oligarchs. Strongmen have no regard for the rule of law. If you would like to read up on what characterizes a true politician, that's a true political, you'll find that in page 187 of my book. The third conclusion you're likely to come to if you do a critical, unbiased assessment of the Nigerian situation is that large swathes of Nigerians are not politically savvy. And the final point is that the best of us over the years have ignored politics. That is, the best of us are not involved in Nigeria's political process. These are the factors that have snowballed into the situation where the worst of us lead the best of us. A literal case of the blind leading those with sight. Contrary to what the proponent of End 1999 Constitution would have us believe, it takes far more than a perfect constitution for a country to achieve economic success. A well-written constitution is good, but even better is a pragmatic, visionary leadership class, as that is the singular dynamic that determines whether a country will succeed or not. A practical example is the United Kingdom, which has no legal constitution. Instead of a single document, the UK has a series of statutes, conventions, and other documents that serve as guidelines to help shape and manage the country's affairs. And in spite of this, the UK works. In spite of the fact that it doesn't have a codified constitution, the UK economy, measured by nominal GDP, that's gross domestic product, is the fifth largest in the world. The point of citing the UK as an example, that's the example of the United Kingdom, is to buttress the point that Nigeria's stagnated status and our collective impoverishment is not a consequence of a warped constitution. Nigeria is just unfortunate to have oligarchic kleptocrats preside over our affairs. Let me even yield and grind the argument that the 1999 Constitution is warped and that the northern hegemony control all of Nigeria's resources. How does this justify the gross misappropriation of the monthly FAC allocation and the patent on the development in the federating states, especially the southern states that are self-evidently not culturally feudal? How is the Constitution preventing political actors at state level from investing in socio-economic infrastructure in their respective states? You understand what I mean? Playing the ethnic card in relation to infrastructural development is weak and can only fly with those who are not given to critical thinking. Because the last I checked, every state in Nigeria, to the exclusion of Lagos, are governed by men who share the same ethnicity with the indigents of the state that they govern. The caliphate certainly is not instructing the state actors not to develop their states. Or are we going to claim that? I mean, is that what we're going to say next? Our biggest macroeconomic problem is low productivity. A critical assessment of expenditures at both federal and state levels show that recurring expenditure is prioritized over capital expenditure. The reality is, without significant investment in socio-economic infrastructure, for example, electricity, productivity will remain low. By the way, electricity is considered as a backbone of industrialization, because without it, you and I cannot maximize our potentials. Nigerians must understand that the Nigerian government machinery is too large. There are one too many brick and mortar MDAs, that's ministries, departments, and agencies, that easily can be converted to e-units, that is fully automated systems with minimal or zero human intervention. I mean, there are enough youngins in this country who can develop applications for these purposes. Functions like the issuance of ISBN, driver's license, even maintaining registration, things like INEC voter registration exercise can be fully automated. This is just one way to create highly skilled employment for Nigerians who are proficient in the ICT field. Let me explain what I mean using practical examples with the benefits of automating certain departments and agencies. As a writer, I had to travel all the way to the National Library in my city to obtain an ISBN. That's an International Standard Book Number. That was not necessary, because all you need to get an ISBN generated to you would be to submit details, certain details, information This can be input. I mean, you can do this remotely from home, is what I'm trying to say. You put in the details and the system will generate you a number. Capiche? Simple. As things stand today, INEC allows for us to initiate the registration process remotely, but then we still need to travel all the way to a physical location to complete the process. Why? I mean, this is the age, this is the information age, this is the age of the internet. Why do you have to start any process and then break it? I mean, start it at home, then you have to break it and travel to a physical spot to conclude it. It's, for me, it's either those who manage these parastatals are not creative, not innovative, are lazy, not proactive, or it's just a combination of all of this. I discussed how ICT can be used to develop a lean government structures in chapter 5 of my book. Interestingly, some even argue the 1999 Constitution kills the incentive to be creative at state level. What? This is just a redundant argument, as it inadvertently excuses the indolence of state actors, governors, commissioners, local government chairmen, and councillors. I am convinced beyond reasonable doubt that the 1999 Constitution does not dampen creativity. Saying this is like, it's like a sloth who blames the weather for his poor outcomes. In reality, political actors who want to serve will most certainly find the means to do this. As stated earlier, a country can become successful without a constitution as long as its leaders are competent and visionary. Soon enough, one will hear the Constitution is responsible for the attitude of members of NAS and House of Representatives or the state assemblies who by choice elect to be a rubber stamp assembly. Nigerians, let's be honest with ourselves. Our collective impoverishment has less to do with a rigged or an imperfect constitution, but more that those who lead, or shall I say, those who rule, at both state and federal levels, just do not possess the requisite competence necessary to direct the affairs of the Nigerian state. Quite frankly, I tell you that if the Constitution were changed today to that perfect version the End Constitution crew clamor for, and other variables which are quality of leadership and quality of institution does not change, the reality is Nigeria will still be faced with the same set of challenges: infrastructural deficit, brain drain, criminality, food insecurity, and every conceivable socio-economic menace as we already have. Talk is cheap, but let's get real and quit the noise already. All the energy channeled into pointing fingers and blaming others, in my humble opinion, can be used differently. What about that energy be redirected to worthwhile goals, like the best of us band and work together to find legitimate means to wrench power from the ignoble men who don't give a bleep about human capital development and squander and fritter away our national resources? Expecting the ruling elites to grant you a restructured Nigeria or a new constitution on a platter is weak and lame as fuck. The courageous and right thing to do is work to clinch political power. A daunting task, no doubt, but realistic and far more honorable than yapping and bellowing from the sidelines. If anything I've said in the last 15 minutes or so has made a bit of sense to you, and you found value in the things that I've discussed, I would encourage you to, and you'd like to support what my team and I do here on LTM, that's Liberating the Mind, I would encourage you to grab a copy of my book titled Who Can or Will Save Nigeria? Entire Brigade of Technocrats. The links to where you can make a purchase of both the e-copy and the print version are in the description box below. Until I come your way next time, it's Yetunde Olokun saying, Ire o.